All right, this is a piece that I've been needing to do a video on and just kind of forgetting, called Wayward Wander. And it is such a hefty thing that it won't stand on the easel I've got currently. So I'm just videoing it here on the bed. This piece is the idea of perception through time and trying to integrate what your sight is with what you are. And you'll see there's a double figure is really the same person at these different instances in time. And I was playing with this flipping idea of going back and forth through time. And then you see there's the little tiny line going from the eye. It is a DNA chain, and it gets more visible as you go up to the sun. The sun is doing a sundog thing, which is a actual visual phenomenon that's viewable in really cold weather, and it's when there's ice particles in the air, which is part of the whole blue motif. It's like this cold motif that I just thought was interesting, I guess. And then there's kind of a trick going on with the trees, because you have this tree. It's quite a regular tree, and doesn't really mess with your mind too much, just it's a tree. But then you have this tree, and if you start considering that tree in proportion to the world here, how big is that tree? And so I really like that. I like those sneaky additives. And I don't know, this is kind of an older piece for me, so sometimes it's hard to like catch where my brain was. I did this piece during art school. It was one of my final projects. And you can see the hangers are both inset. This is how I do most of my work. I put the title and my name and the date. And this, I didn't feel like that was showing up good enough, so I redid it before I varnished it. And I was working on these really big boards for a while, and then I've decided to move away from that just because I'm afraid it's too damaging to people's walls. And I'm happy with it for this piece. This piece is actually a piece of paper mounted onto the boards. And a funny thing happened when I moved from Illinois to Colorado. It was still a little bit tacky, and the air pressure let a bubble, and it actually, well, I guess you can't see it too much, but there's a bump where the air pressure, because we went to the higher altitude, bumped the page. But I think the seal held really good. I did go back in there and reapplied some varnish, so I think it'll still be a really enduring piece. It's really an aesthetically pleasant piece, but I do think the concept of it worked really well. I like what I've done with the mountains because they're almost a mirror image, but I didn't use a full mirror image. I went in and hand painted the details, of course, so they're not perfect. And I actually really enjoyed that because it just gives it this great feeling of like you really have to focus to decide what's happening. I think if I were to do this piece again, I would go in here and intentionally do something with faces. I'm probably going to do something with these symmetrical mountains again because I just really enjoy the technique, and it's really easy to kick off a template by taking some real mountains and then digitally chopping them, and then you don't stick to the template, but then you get this idea, and I definitely did that here. So that is this Wayward Wandering piece.